Hi, I'm Mrs. Spangler in the middle, and I'd like to introduce you to the Leveled Writing Lab. Every year at the beginning of the year, we like to give our students a writing diagnostic to see where their skill levels lie. We actually ask them to write an essay, and what I invariably discover is that I have middle school students at so many different writing levels. Some that can write sentences just fine, others that are still working on that. Some that can put paragraphs together, others that aren't quite sure how to do that yet, and then others that can write essays right away. So, I needed students to be able to develop sentence, paragraph, and essay writing skills at the same time. I also wanted to gradually build their skills and confidence so that they all actually believed they could master grade level standards. And I wanted them to take ownership of their work in progress so that they were invested in learning these skills. So my solution was the Leveled Writing Lab. It's an easy-to-use set of self-guided and leveled writing lessons. Students work on an appropriate level and at their own pace to gradually progress to new skills. Here are the levels. Each level has 7 lessons. There are 9 levels of lessons and 1 level of enrichment. And you can see that I started with the most basic skills for those students who are still learning to write sentences, with capitalization, construction of sentences, nouns, verbs, subjects, and predicates. And then the complexity of skills build all the way up to writing essays. And writing essays is meeting grade level standards, at least where I'm from. So, that's a total of 63 individualized lessons and 8 enrichment projects for those students who could already write essays. So you're probably wondering, how does the lab work? Well, there are 3 main parts. First, students take a diagnostic, but it's not writing an essay, and are placed at a color level. Then, students work independently on their lessons and enter answers on a self-checking Google form. Finally, students progress monitor on their own and level up when they score 80% or better on 3 lessons, after the teacher verifies the results, of course. Let's take a closer look. So step number 1, students take a diagnostic and are placed at a color level. This is diagnostic A. There's also a diagnostic B and a C. The idea behind this is that A is for the first 3 levels of the lab, B is for the middle 3, and C is for the top 3. And if a student isn't scoring so well on level A, then you know they're not ready for those skills that B and C test, and you don't need to continue with them. In fact, you can use the results from Diagnostic A to determine what color level they should begin on. The second step, then, is where students work independently on their lessons. You can see an example of a blue lesson, which is from the middle range of the lab. They complete the lesson on paper so that they'll take their time and really focus, and then they enter their answers into the self-checking Google form. The third step is after the students receive that instant feedback from the Google form, then they're going to record their score on the progress tracker. So students progress monitor on their own and level up when they score 80% or better on 3 lessons, after the teacher verifies the results, of course. This is what it might look like in your classroom. You'll set up a station in your room with binders for each level of the lessons. Students will go to that station, take a lesson out of the binder for the color level they're on, and they know what color level they're on because they've already taken the writing diagnostic. They'll take that lesson back to their seats and complete that lesson on paper first. It doesn't matter what order they do the lessons in. Then, they'll enter their answers on the self-checking Google form. When the Google form gives them their instant feedback, they'll record that on their progress tracker. And the idea is that after they have earned 80% or better on 3 separate lessons, they could show you this progress tracker and move up a level. So, as you can see, differentiation is built in. Students take the diagnostic, and you assign the level based on the score. How often do students work in the lab? Well, in general, the idea is that students work in the lab at least once per week. It could also be used as an early finisher activity, and of course you could work in the lab more than once. It all depends on your schedule and the way your curriculum is structured. So others might wonder, how do I assess my students' knowledge? Well, you can use the success rate in the student lessons. You could also look at the rate at which students advance in the levels. Or you could compare diagnostic scores from the beginning, the middle, and the end of the year, should you choose to give the diagnostic that frequently. Now the big question, can you see a sample? Please click the link below this video to get that free sample. In summary, the Leveled Writing Lab provides individualized lessons to meet students where they are and helps all learners achieve more with their writing. Thanks so much for watching this video. If you have any questions, I invite you to email me at lisa@mrsspanglerInthemiddle.com.